foundation, because remember our previous class was all about foundation, I just need to reiterate to you how important it is to blend that foundation so it looks like skin, it looks natural. Well, at the same time, when you're blending, some of the imperfections might start coming out. And then you might feel compelled to, let me add more foundation to cover those imperfections because I want the skin to look flawless. Well, foundation is not the product for that. Foundation, as I said, I think 2 times in the previous video, is just supposed to even the skin tone. Now, of course, you're looking at her, at this gorgeous face that Luana has. Thank you. and you might be saying, Cecilia, that doesn't look good because I can still see her dark circles. I can still see a little blemish that she has over there. And I already saw them too. Now, let me tell you one thing. If you have a customer who has a lot of acne scars, and those acne scars are red, right? And they have volume. What would you do? Would you apply a heavy foundation to cover all that because the person has a lot of acne scars? Or would you be kinder to that person and just apply a nice foundation like this and then work on each scar independently, one by one? I suggest you do the second. Why? Because I gave you a very important tip. I told you those scars, you know, the blemishes, even have texture. The skin is not completely even, and they even have volume, right? So when you have texture and you have volume, and you apply a heavy coat of foundation, the only thing you're going to do is enhance the texture and enhance the volume. So it will look bigger, and the foundation is gonna collect in all that texture and it's just gonna look terrible. The best thing you can do to people is allow for the skin to look fresh, radiant, natural, youthful, and then do correction by themselves, right? It doesn't take long if you know what you're doing. And in that way, that same person with acne will have most of the skin looking fresh and nice and all the blemishes corrected or all the acne scars corrected, right? So there are 2 important things that we need to keep in mind when it comes to doing correcting and concealing. And it is that one thing is to color correct and another very different one is to conceal. Now let me start by explaining this. This is a color corrector. Can you see how it has different colors? Here's another color corrector. Both of them from Imera, right? But you can see shades of different colors here, like yellow, like orange, pink, right? And concealers are only skin tones, like this ones. They could be light, they could be dark, but they look like skin. Now, these ones look like foundation. The difference is that foundation is not as covering as concealers, because concealers are supposed to cover, right? So that's why they are thicker. So now that I explained to you that we have 2 different products for this process, let me explain to you how the process goes. The first thing you need to do is observe the face. Observe, look to see what you're going to have to conceal, what you're going to have to correct. So by observing her, and by the way, you don't need 2 hours to observe. As you're talking to the customer, you're already observing all the things that you will need to correct and conceal, right? For once, I can tell you that she has under eye dark circles that I will need to correct, and she has a little blemish in there. As a piece of information, whenever you have somebody who has an active acne with pus, you know, the ones that have a white head, do not apply foundation there because the pus indicates that there's already an infection. So if there's an infection there, you don't want to spread the infection by moving anything on top of it, but not only that, infecting it more. So you just need to work around it, but don't work on it. Unless that they really need it covered for that night, but tell them that as soon as they get home, they need to remove the foundation so that pimple can breathe, right? Anyway, that was just a side note, but it's a very important one because it happens. So by observing her, I can see that she has, like I said, the dark circles and she has the blemish. Now, these are the steps that you will need to follow in order to eliminate dark circles or anything that has color, right? First, when you're observing, you need to see what it presents to you. Does it have color? Is there texture? Is there volume? Because all those things are going to help you decide what to do. In the case of her, of the dark circles, you need to see them and see what color they are. Hers are a little bit on the purple side. Look at them, right? So how do I know how to color correct them? For that, you need the color wheel. And you will need to use the complementary color to neutralize that color. Let me explain. So we have purple, right? Here we have violet. They call it violet, but it's purple. The color that is directly opposite to that one is the one that neutralizes the color or color corrects that color. Why do we need to do that? Because the purple will continue coming out if you just put a concealer, and it will continue showing, and then you're going to have something that looks grayish, funny in there, and she can end up looking like a raccoon, right? So now I know that if this is a little bit on the purple bluish, I know that I'm going to use a mixture of my yellow and my orange. Why? Because like I explained to you, yellow neutralizes purple that she has, and and orange neutralizes blue, which she has. So I'm going to mix those two and apply them. But you should never apply a color corrector directly on the skin, because then you're going to change this purple to a yellowish funny color, right? So my suggestion is always keep a little bit of foundation. Don't wipe this when you finish applying it because you're going to need it, okay? So then I am going to take a little bit of orange and a little bit of yellow, and I'm going to mix them first by themselves and then with a little bit of foundation, and that is what I am going to apply. Now for this, since this is where the dark circle is, I don't want to apply too much product everywhere, only when where it's needed. I like to work in a very detail-oriented, localized way, because we're going to end up putting about 40 different products on her face. And if I put too much product, then she's going to look fake and overdone. So I do my mixture of the two color correctors, and then the magic is mixing it with a little bit of foundation. Foundation, why? So it still looks like skin, right, with the skin tone, but so it doesn't look orange on the skin, that's what I'm trying to say. And then I'm going to come with a smaller brush and just pack it. I'm not going to blend it yet, I'm just going to pack it on top of the area that I want to neutralize. And this works beautifully. Can you see how it disappeared? Now I still need to blend, but for now I just applied it, and I'm going to let the skin get the pigment, you know, warm it and receive it before I blend it, right? Because if I blend right away, I might just move it out of place too quickly. So I'm going to take a little bit more of my mixture, blend it with the foundation, and that's what I'm going to apply. Like I said, I am working with a very small brush because I don't need this product to be everywhere. Now she has her circle, her under eye circle starts from here. So I'm gonna color correct that too. So like I said, I apply the product and I just let it sit on the skin so the skin will warm it. Look at me for a second, please. Thank you. This is the first step. When we work on the under eye, we are going to be layering the products for a better result. Okay? So now that I applied it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to come with a small brush, taper brush, that I can use for blending. Blending is extremely important because if not, the elements look harsh. Now, as you can see, I'm not removing the product, I'm just softening it. I pack it and only soften the edges. Please, thank you. Okay? So the only thing I have done so far is the color correction. Then I'm going to come with my concealer and I'm going to cover them with the concealer. So when you blend under eye circles, I suggest this. Let's say that this is the product that you applied. Don't mess with the center, just work on the edges. Because if you mess a lot with the center and you blend that center too much, then you remove the product that you applied, right? So now that they are more diffused and the color is more controlled, now I come with my corrector to put on top, right? I tell you, we work on layers when it has to do with the eyes. Beware never to use a concealer or a color corrector that is way too light for her, because then this area is just going to get grayish and it will look terrible. Okay, so I come and I match her skin. I'm not going to go for the lightest, not for this. Later on I'm going to highlight, but right now I just want to cover. So I take my palette, I take another small brush so the colors don't get all mixed up, and I'm going to apply. And this is what's going to end up doing the trick and eliminating the dark circles. Okay, so first you observe, you see what color you're dealing with. Once you decide what color it is, you go to your color wheel. And once you go to your color wheel, you look for the complementary color, which is the one that is directly opposite. That is just so we can neutralize the color of the dark circle. Once we choose the color, we apply it, and then we neutralize it. We're neutralized it already, we blend. And once you finish with all that, then you come with your corrector, and then you blend softly. Of course, if she had lines under her eyes, or if the skin had texture, then we would have a problem, because then it would look heavy. And now we blend, and there you go. Okay, so that is how you layer. Now, I have not finished yet, because the last step would be for me to take a little bit more of foundation. I'm going to use the same brush, and just pat it on top. Now, it might seem like a lot. You're going to be saying, why do I need to take so many steps for this? So you can really disappear it, right? Because if you don't, and if you just go directly for the concealer, believe me, the color will continue coming out. Okay? It will continue coming out, and it's gonna look false. Some people like to apply powder, not me. I'm just gonna leave it like that and let the skin get pigmented with all this that I put. Why don't I like to apply powder? Because when you apply powder, then this cracks easier. And just to finish quickly, let's just do this pimple. Like I was telling you, if you have somebody with acne scars, you just come and you have your mixture and you work one by one. It is important to get rid of them, because if not, when you apply the foundation, not the foundation, sorry, as you continue working, they will show. Now I come and I'm just diffusing them, and now I'm going to come with a little bit of foundation and go on top of them. Something very important just to finish to tell you is that nothing gets rid of volume. So if you have a pimple that has volume, that will show always. If the under eye circles is like a dip, that will show always. It doesn't matter what color you put, because that dip makes a shadow, casts a shadow, and you cannot get rid of shadows. So, but this is the process of color correcting and concealing.